What is up, ladies and germs? My voice isn't complimenting the video. That is because I was on mute the whole time. Not the whole time, up to about 45 minutes of stupidity ensued gameplay and drafting and all the things. But I am MTG Flux. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And we are doing a throwback draft for Modern Horizons 3. Love this set. I will draft it into the ground if able. But yeah, having a lot of fun with it as well. So, yes, as a cadence of content that comes out, we are doing We Draft Paper one day a week. It's usually not on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday because Tuesdays and Thursdays are meant for standard. Wednesday is meant for We Draft Paper. And then all the other kind of days are just up in the air as far as different draft formats, different variations of draft, and all that so on in there. So I'm trying to develop some consistency so you guys can expect some content and when to expect the content as well. But yeah, so it's cool. Looking forward to this weekend to get some Arena Direct, get some Japanese Modern Horizons 3 boxes, and I will be trying my best to cop a couple of those. But yeah, I like how they're doing a fun, different Arena Direct as well on top of everything. Especially not for the Spider-Man thing. But the biggest thing is that they're not doing something's like way off with printing enough product for everyone. Maybe it was just the aftermath of the Final Fantasy set. But as we get into this draft here, we got a Pearl Ear Imperial Advisor. Not really what we're looking for. I mean, the card is fine, and it's good in its own right, and it's good in its own deck, but I just was quite off of this card. That being said, I'm looking at everything else and not feeling really great about anything, except for maybe Malevolent Rumble. There was a consideration for that or the Pearl Ear, but not really. I mean, Malevolent Rumble I think is the best card here by a country mile. So feeling not so great about that, but then again, I'm always feeling good taking a Malevolent Rumble. You'll see as I navigate through this draft that there was a lot of hard decisions and some important pivots to be had in this draft. So at this point I'm like Malevolent Rumble into Thought Not Seers, not bad, but the Battle Mage here is actually this card is just busted. It's just incredibly good. It's like a 3-for-1, and even more when you bounce their creature. It's just the card is insane. I ended up taking it over the Thought Not Seer, even though Thought Not Seer has classic nostalgia, being very playable in the past, but I just honestly think that this card's even better. In a limited format, of course. Alright, so actually feeling pretty good at this point, but then we get past this pack. I don't see a quality Eldrazi thing in sight, nor do I see any green cards, nor do I see any blue cards unless it matches with white. So I'm just this was probably the most difficult pick of the whole draft, and it really did kind of map everything for the rest of the draft. So I ended up taking the Workshop or whatever it is that makes 3/3s if you have the Ironworks, Phyrexian Ironworks. So whenever you attack, you get an energy, and then you could pay 3 energy and make a 3/3 artifact golem. And so at this point, I just took it being I felt the best card, which I do end up playing this card, and this was kind of a lot of the bones to the deck as well. And once again, we have another tough pick. I can take the +6/+6 and trample card if I'm wanting to hedge more towards green. But after seeing that last pack, I was very discouraged on the colors of blue and green. Blue does kind of open up at a certain point, but green definitely just was not the color to be in. But I'm taking this land. I've had a lot of success with this land because it destroys target land. They search for another land, put it in the battlefield tapped, and then creatures without flying can't attack or can't block this turn, which can be backbreaking. This card has cheesed out a lot of wins for me playing this set. Once again, not really a lot for us. I'm seeing a couple green cards, so I'm kind of keeping maybe the Teamer Life open, or even just the Simic Life go open with the blue-green, but not a big fan of the Oozewag. Even though it's a fine card, it's just, I would call it more or less not my style card. I think it's boring. But yeah. Feeling great. Oh no, I'm not feeling great. I'm feeling very confused and conflicted about the picks that I've chosen. Looking forward to seeing what comes at this point. So, we got the Hope Ender Coddle, which is okay. We got a little Counters Matter Pump spell. We have a Landscape, but I'm thinking... So, like, it's hard because I'm trying to stay open, but I'm also trying to, like, find my lane. Finding my lane in this particular draft was very difficult. So I took the Izzet Generatorium, which did end up being really good in this deck. It did matter, but just basically getting some engines between the Generatorium and then the Ironworks back to back, or like having those just within its engine itself. And then I see the Cyclops, which I'm like, okay, now we're cooking. Like, now I'm seeing some of the energy stuff actually flow through, which I was not seeing before. As you can see, I'm kind of bumping green, seeing if what this looks like, understanding that I'm quite behind on playables up at this point. We've got another blank pack for us, which, like, having packs like these is just the rough feeling. I don't think there's any right pick there. So taking the Mace, I ended up not having the Mace in the deck, but the Mace actually turned out to be actually just fine. The Cascade had its moments. I've been getting this 1-mana counterspell in almost every deck I've been drafting, and it's going by like super, super late, which it is not a great limited counterspell, but because it counters target artifact, creature, or planeswalker, but it also gives them a 2/2 flyer, which isn't great in a limited setting. So we snap off this Drake here. Springheart Nintuko is a great card as well. I'm considering doing that, but the energy was kind of, I feel like, more open than green was. So I was wanting to more so lean into that. I knew what I was passing on energy, and it wasn't a lot of energy at all of what I was passing. So here, I think I take the bug or the narrative. I may have taken I took 2 in the narrative. Charge bug, I think, is actually the right pick. just because um, of how this is going. I'm needing some creatures and some cheap creatures too, and Charge Bug with its evasion is really good. Yeah, I ended up taking it. I do not like this little 2/1 here, but it gets me energy, and that's not nothing. That's a good Orzhov land. Gives something +2/+2 and flying and lifelink. Really good in this kind of format. Considering the white in that spot, but I really don't kind of mess with. I just trying to stay focused on like more narrow and just trying to get playables. Understanding that I may be in Teamer at this point, but also trying to not do the wild splashes or anything. Yeah, the harvester is just not good. It's just, I mean, it's good at if it would have gave me 3 energy, I would feel a lot better with that card. But it's so brittle as a 2/1. And then the draw is a loot, so it's not even a full-on draw, so it doesn't feel like super great. And then we get past this. It's Devour of Destiny, which is fantastic. It's questioning my life. And then the Oblivion, which is that enchantment that basically makes all your Eldrazi tokens or Eldrazi into Convoke or tappable Convoke creatures. So, I mean, as you can see, I'm highlighted over the Devour Destiny, but I think I just need to stay consistent. And I think I literally said just play into the bit. The Gargoyle is really good. I think I ended up taking it over the land. So at this point, and then we get another Ironworks. Now this is probably the first good feeling that I had in this deck because I have a healthy amount of creatures that provide energy, 2 Ironworks, and hoping that it can just generate something nice for me. Look at this. Writhing Chrysalis and like pick 7. Yeah, I just ended up taking it. I was like, no one deserves this for just leaving it in the pack, even though I would play the dual land. Another Gargoyle here, so I was waffling between the Gargoyle and then the Emissary. Emissary is really, really good, but I think I'm more of a lower curve and aggressive. The good thing about Gargoyle, it's 2 mana for 3 energy. Like that's good rates, especially when you want your increments of 3 energy coming in for your Ironworks. There is a difference there. So now I'm understanding that, like, am I 4 colors? Am I just going to do Jeskai? So yeah, that was my argument between the Emissary and then the Gargoyle. Ended up taking the Gargoyle. Tuna narratives much better than the Harvester. A little land that doesn't do anything for me. It just fetches a land, tapping it and 3 other mana to do so. So not nothing. I feel like this is just more of a scrappy kind of deck. This is a deck that like I love too. Like what is it really does is kind of like ping, draw, and value, and then just kind of have more of a tempo spell slinging basis. But with adding Jeskai, it adds a lot more, especially in this deck being energy. We're getting that value, but we're also just really leaning into the bit of energy to get these Ironworks going. But I mean, this is me and my and my roundhouse. Still considering that green splash. Probably just, I'm just getting in my own way at this point. So here, we get another Cyclops. Consider the monk, but there's no good instants or sorceries to bring back from my graveyard, so that wasn't great. Glimpse the Impossible is pretty good. It could have been a pick here, but I think I think I said it again at this point. I was like, well, just lean into the bit. Let's do what this deck wants to do and get energy and just dump energy. Doesn't feel good to take a 3-mana common at this spot, but that's kind of where we're at. Then we get past Kappa Cannoneer. So I was surprised to see that we had 6 artifacts already at this point. So with the gargoyles and then the ironworks and then the genitorium, I'm like, oh man, I really did have quite a bit here. I was thinking the dual land, but seeing the gargoyle just wasn't allowing it being an artifact too is huge. So I was looking at the gatekeeper and the bug, and now I'm wanting to make Kappa Cannoneer playable because my deck just doesn't go over the top. It can be aggressive and get some value. There is a tempo game plan to it. I take the bug. I think that is the right pick. But the gatekeeper is also good just because it gets in the incremental damage throughout the game. And it's an artifact. So I knew I was taking an artifact in that spot to support Kappa Cannoneer. Jeskai land is exactly what we need at this point. Would have liked probably one more throughout. Honestly, I think I should have played. I ended up playing three or four sources of planes, which I think I needed one more. A couple games that we run into kind of just don't feel smooth for the mana. I feel like this deck does go 7-0 or 7 wins if the mana is just perfect. Conduit Goblin. So, but at this point, I'm like, well, I got a Kappa Cannoneer, man. I gotta, once again, just it is the card that I need to believe in to give me some wins here. It's my one real bomb. The good thing about this set is the incredible amount of synergies that are going on. They're really real and they're really in your face. And so, I mean, it's good. That causes for a good set, especially with it have relative balance to it. Yes, I do think Eldrazi and Energy are the best of the archetypes. But I think everything is playable. The black-red artifacts isn't bad. I think there's places to play with that. I'm just really trying to scrape up some playables at this point. I'm looking at my sideboard, see if there's anything missed. I think I still need one playable at this point. So I look at this hammer, I'm like, well, hammer into Kappa Cannoneer is not even terrible. And then into any creature that has energy could cause for some explosive turns. So I'm like, well, I think this is also not bad because it also gives things trample as well. And putting the mace on the Cyclops is a real thing. I actually meant to take this, but I screwed it up. Like, well, there goes one playable card I meant to go. I'm actually glad I didn't. I don't think it's like great, but it's definitely not nothing. So we got a deck here. We got a deck. Honestly, the Siege Smash, how this deck ended up playing, wouldn't have been a bad play. Double Maze, I'm like, well, I mean, that's one thing we can do, especially Kappa Cannoneer gets better the more artifacts you play after it's cast, too, because it becomes unblockable, getting a 1-1 counter, which is its appeal. And yeah, card sweep. We got ourselves a deck here, friends. I think I end up cutting some lands and one card. Yeah, I think I cut the Strix counterspell. I'm just being an idiot not being able to count my lands. Yeah, the Drake is looking real fine in this deck. There's a lot of games just playing it as a 3/2 flyer for 2 was the nuts. It just kind of won me the game. It's just like, well, now you're down to 8. You know, your go. And that's when this deck is at its best, when I'm able to get some early pressure in and they kind of stabilize, and then I just chip away with all my Cyclops, my Maces, getting more going wide with my Ironworks. So I ended up, not only was I just muted for most of this, for over half this video, but I was also, was getting calls from my boss. I'm like, oh man. And I'm in the middle of a match. Like, I'm not gonna just pause it and call it a day. So the voiceover ended up probably what I had to happen either rate, but not terrible. Then playing the landscape kind of leads me to want to have a setup turn for my 2-drop and get going that way. Most of my hands were very like awkward to the fixing, but like it drew well in the case of like things I can do. I think this is probably best here, just getting the Cyclops out, starting the train on getting some energy flowing. Because if they play a big creature next turn, I'll be able to get it with the Drake. Now I'm just like, oh, well, I guess I'm just going to start beating face. Double spell here, start going wide. I will say, I don't think I drew a single card off the Sanatorium, but it did generate me the extra energy a lot throughout all my games. But this deck was hard to spend. If I don't have the Ironworks out, it's hard to spend energy. So I'm feeling in a very good spot. They missed a land drop. I am substantially ahead on board. So at this point, I'm just looking to push as much damage through as I can. very willing to spend some mana. I know they don't want to block with their Eldrazi Scion at this point because they're cucked on lands, but I think I even mentioned while still muted that like sometimes you just curve out and you got it, like they stumble a little bit, it's going to be hard to come back, but you're just too far ahead. I think I even mentioned that like I think this is like a 3-win deck. I'd be happy with 3 wins because I think the drafting experience was very difficult in a way that which that would have been a good draw if I had a Plains at this point, but I think the stigma of it not feeling good, oh yeah, go crazy. They gotta hold back. They're getting in a block at some capacity anyway, so but yeah, the stigma of like the draft experience being like rough, just chopping around and not finding my lane until like pack 2, like it just made it feel like the deck was super bad, but come to look at it, it was pretty fine. It was good. Closing this game out, it is, they do get some bodies on the field, but I think that between what I got going on here, it's just a non-issue. Just trying to get lethal through because the ping on the Cyclops makes it to where any of my creatures become lethal. Just sitting on a casual 12 energy, no big deal. That's what happens when they don't interact with any of my cards, and victorious. Feeling good about that. I was like, man, free wins are still wins. And I've been actually, I had a couple really good drafts at the beginning of drafting these, and then I had like a 2-draft slump of just like, wow, these decks are actually pretty good, but they're getting absolutely demolished. So there is not a world where I keep this. I keep trying to talk myself into these. What do I do? Oh my gosh, I do keep it. Yeah, this is where I just get rolled because I kept a stupid ambitious hand. I am the worst when it comes to like, well, let's keep this hand. I just need 1 land. And then I get to get some Ironworks out and we'll make it happen. So, spoiler alert, that never happens. Our land situation was screwed from the get-go. And they play... and it's terrible because like this was such a winnable game because they just didn't play it in Tuco, just didn't do anything for 2 more turns. They're just literally poking me for 1, having all the chances in the world to get something going, but all these blue cards come around and no blue mana, but doing it to myself. I earned this L. Especially ripping these cards off it, it was like catastrophic. I'm like, oh, 3 blue cards? Oh, lit. At least a mace at this point would give me something, but it's just, just not great. Like, well, last chance basically. If I can get a island off the top, I can Kappa Cannoneer and kind of start chipping away. And understanding that the Drake can actually stabilize some form of like being behind if they choose to play a bomb. But no, they just choose to hang out, do nothing. Just make some 1-1s. They're just vibing. Yeah, man, this game is super easy. Another blue card. I'm watching myself, seeing if I tilt. Keep it cool, Tim. Keep it cool. I mean, it is just comical, especially when you do it to yourself, like how this works. Like, it's just ugly. I mean, I guess there is a world where I can start attacking, going for 1 energy at a time to make a 3/3. But, like, that's not what we're looking for. I'm actually more impressed that I'm sticking this one out. Maybe it's just because I know the outcome. Not so great. So I get soloed by the Spring Heart and Tucos. And then I see a Psychic Frog and I just dip. Also, spoiler alert, this is not the last Psychic Frog that I see for the rest of this video. However, what I do to the next Psychic Frog is freaking sweet. So, yeah. 1-1. About as expected at this point. This hand looks really good. Bug into Cyclops, to another bug, into hopefully another 2-drop. Another land to keep that alive. Jitterbug. There's Cyclops. Since they were on the play, I do feel a little bit behind them playing their Cyclops. This ended up being a really good game. So the mace is actually looking appealing, especially I have the lands in my hand to kind of keep things going. I think I do make a mistake on how I cast this spell. It's a draw 2 cards, discard a card at random if you pay, unless you pay 2 energy, which I honestly should just pay the energy, but because I didn't actually read the at random part, so I ended up getting rid of the bug, which if I would have known that, I probably would have still took the chance having 4 lands. But then again, it could have really wrecked me because like this mace actually does come up to be a prevalent thing. So tempoing out pretty well here. They got their draw of the Visionary, but I'm thinking Cyclops, hopefully another 2-drop somewhere. Them exiling that was actually quite brutal. So now I'm like, ooh, okay, another Cyclops into Aether Spike with a bunch of energy in the bank. Like, yeah, we're feeling good. Hopefully they kind of feel ambitious enough to lean into a big spell here. Considering attacks, considering if I'm feeling good about this race or not. So, great thing to Aether Spike because basically the game would have been over if I would have let that resolve. But they do get all their little spawn tokens. Because it being a cast trigger. But now we're into mace time. Getting the prowess trigger off the cascade was pretty awesome too. So this is when I find out that My mic was muted the whole time, but I immediately get a call from my boss, and we're talking shop, so you'll just have to bear with my voiceover just for a little bit longer. Five four Cyclops coming through. This was a good block by them. I wanted them to kind of like go for trying to take care of the Cyclops, because I feel like it was just the biggest threat on the board. But after this, I'm just a couple mana. So next turn I play Mace, and then after that I just equipped both Maces if I draw a land. And then I'm like, well, you have to get through a 10-10, or a 10-2, like big ginormous Cyclops. But we get into another Cyclops here, which is fantastic. The Cascade missed on the Kappa Cannoneer because it's for 6 mana, which I thought it did, but I think it's a mana short, which was kind of a bummer because that was the appeal of the Maces, to hope to get into Kappa Cannoneer. So pretty good draw for them. Basically this kind of keeps them quite in it, honestly. Always stack it on. I mean, yeah, it's good to put those little guys on the emissary, and then also spread it out. But at the very least, put it all on the emissary. But it is good to spread it out first, though. So this was an interesting blocking point. I know I find myself unmuted, but he ends up calling me back. But at the very least, I'm going to try to blow up some of his stuff. So getting a bunch of this is really nice here, but I'm like, ooh, I almost like missed it. So I think getting the life here is actually what puts this game away. So I could have just double equipped and try to get in, but I think that would be a higher risk of dying on the crackback. So I opt to do it this way, get some more energy, then attack, then give it lifelink to gain that extra life. So going from 8 to 16 or 14 is a big deal. Then they played this. I'm like, well, I don't think that was right. Because I think they needed to tap the Cyclops. So I didn't just have this double equipped, and now I'm swinging in for 10. It dies. It has to be blocked and has trample. And I'm just going to fling 10 damage if that's the case. Heck, let's give it lifelink. It'll be great. So that game felt great. That was nice. And I just get another call. Don't worry, after this one we're back to action. Back to live gameplay, call it. I will say, like, this as a set period is probably my top 3 favorite limited sets of all time. I think it's I will. I mean, I think I have 5 in mind that like would be considered the best. Here I'm over here taking another ambitious hand, just super slow, and I think I'm on. No, I am on the play, which that's ideal. But since I have no turn 2 play in my hand, I think I'm gonna lead just with an untapped land to see if I can maybe use it for a spell later. But since I have no turn 2 play, we'll get it down just so we don't miss land drops and have to bolt ourselves. Alright, turn 3, Cyclops. Start the energy. No. Yeah, turn 3 Cyclops, and then I Ironworks, attack, get 1 more energy, make a 3/3. So this feels fine, especially because I'm just going to be able to trade and or I don't know if I attack. No, I just make a 3/3. Yeah, there's no point of attacking at this point. Just get my 3/3 and be happy and merry about it. Because at the very least, I'll have another 3/3 next turn after I play my next Cyclops. Actually, I think I play the draw spell, so getting their land. I thought it's suspicious since they got some Eldrazi things going on. I'm like, why do they need the double? Do they need the double red because they have the Siege Gang Eldrazi thing going on? But we'll find out here shortly. So, I mean, like, just sussing out some of their plays as far as, like, why they play those lands, which is important, you know, trying to suss out, like, cards that you don't want to see and play around those things in that way, but I thought this a strange play, too, just making that just a little bit bigger. It does stop most of my things, but this feels good. So, here in a couple seconds, we're going to get back to normally communicated games after I windmill slam this Kappa Cannoneer. So, enjoy the rest of the video. Yeah, let's get Kappa. Them doing this for 1 is actually nice. Alright, so we got another Cyclops to make another. I mean, if I draw a land, I may just play the Mace. And that'll be a trigger for Kappa Cannoneer to get in unblockable. Yeah, I'm so sorry about the being. Ooh, 4 damage to something. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's probably best to do the Cyclops now before I get any. Granted, I'm rather using my energy to make more artifact creatures. I'd like to see if they try to get in here. I mean, they can't. I can take 4. Alright, no land, but that's fine. Yeah, let's just do this. Yeah, Kappa gon' get ya. Turtle power. Speaking of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, young Kappa, Alpha Omega, Kappa be cappin'. I'm just trying the cringiest of all my mites. So, this deck is curious. I lost a game where just a bad keep. I knew that my colors didn't work in that game, but outside of that, like, we're kind of cruising. Kappa Cannoneer had its game. The 3-mana Izzet cards are kind of like fueling me. But then again, our matchups haven't been like incredibly super aggressive. Like, this is a hand, right? I do think I keep this because I have 3 castable spells and a way to find other color mana in the colors that I present. So let's do that. On the draw, any land will do. Maybe on a mulligan? Yeah, they mulled to 6. Probably the worst draw in my deck, but that's fine. Fading that turn is pretty good, but I definitely need to draw a land. Here we are again. Nothing on turn 3. What is going on? It's just lands, man. They don't cast anything on turn 1, 2, and 3. I missed my 3rd land drop. Granted, I'm here on the board. Okay, so they can probably... Oh, they're going for a 1/1 counter instead. Oh my gosh. Take 3. We got to get this down because I'd like to use this to try to get a land. If I do draw a blue land, I may just actually, I don't know. Let's see what they pitch away. Okay. All right. Try to send them. Yeah, they put it on top. It's a pretty good card for them. I will offer trade. Okay. Another blue land if we're taking requests. A white land would be fine too, because that would enable me to do this and this. Yeah, you got it. So we got to get white here, because I think the gargoyle is going to end up keeping me alive. Yeah, this is fine. I could have left up Aether Spike knowing that they were drawing that, but I don't think that was best, because we're just taking another 3 damage there. Okay. Making 2 of these a turn is actually kind of nuts. Actually, yeah. Yeah, also, I mean, their white removal's busted. Good lord. Oh, this is a protection spell. Alright, so blue mana is what I'm looking for. Tap ability. Alright, next turn. Once again, blue land kind of opens up like a lot of versatility. I mean, there has been a lot of good tempo out of this game. If they choose to tap things down, what if? Oh my god! Right on. What can I do about that? How many? Exile 3 cards? Oh my god! That was absolutely nuts. kind of fine with that, yo. I can get flying twice. Taking 6. I mean, I'm good to discard everything except for the Riddlegate Gargoyle. Okay. Yes, thank you, Stormdrake. That's a top deck. Let's go. Feeling a little bit better about my life. Four dubs. Let's go. All right. This is not the time that we keep. I mean, it almost caused us to lose last game. Luckily, we were able to tempo our way out of the situation, but this hand I can do. It's better, Beetle. Trues. Yeah, let's get the Beetles out of here. Yeah, this is fine. They don't cast a creature. Okay, this is fine. Just play a 3/2 flyer. Okay. Pretty good lead here. They have access to all their colors, I believe, now. Let's see what they want to throw back at us. Brain Surge. If they're spending their turn doing that, I think they have different problems. So next turn, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3. Okay. Decline. These Ironworks have been quite crazy in this freaking deck. I mean, I imagine they have a board wipe here, which could have been a reason to hold on to this. That doesn't seem like it. Double white for the white board, the energy board wipe. So can we do both? Yeah. Is there any way to push in the one more bit of damage? Not in white. Sure. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that gives us the Hope Ender Caudal. Just spend it all, Captain. Good game. Hoo-yah! That was good. That's when you mulligan and it kind of works out. 2 more. Let's go. I love that little quote that they do. Everybody loves a comeback story. Never give up. Never surrender. This is a hand. So this is kind of the same song and dance. If I draw a land, we're in business. Haste, you got it. Well, that is not nothing. This creature gains battle cry. So, Teamer. Yeah, Repurposer, you're doing it. Oh. Lucky oh may I me. Attack with everything. I think I'll just... Wait, will I? 5. I haven't taken any damage yet, so... That's not what we're looking for. Do I just need a fade a turn here? Let me add the flyer. That's interesting. get this guy out of here. Next turn I can mace. Oh yeah. Well, friends, that's a big giant problem we got here. I knew it. I was like, it's just probably going to pull a tune the narrative. Yikes. Yeah, I think we're done here. So they fling 4, attack for 3, 7. Yeah, it's just there isn't a card that kind of really brings me back from that. That's all right. We keep on keeping on, friends. All right, let's get it. We gotta end strong, friends. This is a hand. It's actually kind of bad on... This could be a do-nothing hand. I mean, I'll be able to counter something, but... Yeah, counter their turn 2 play. Well, I also got that. Just in case I top a white. Nice. Devour Destiny. Do you take the Devour Destiny? They do. I'm not taking any damage here. I don't know what feels so bad about turn 2 Malevolent Rumble, but it's not, doesn't feel great. And this thing has Evolve. Yeah, that would have been a nice thing to try to counter. Yeah, let's just take advantage of our mana. Don't misstep any of that. So we can double spell next turn. Probably would have been a reason to play that. Well, it doesn't matter here. gonna have access to 7 mana. Yeah, they can cast Devoured Destiny if they play land here, which I presume that they have. And yes, I will counter it. Yeah, Poppy. Yeah, that hurts. Get your land. That's actually gross. Oh, did you exile? What? What's going on? Sure. It even triggers evolve. That's so gross. Are you serious? Oh my gosh. Nice. Yeah, good game. Yeah, that was sick. That was sick. That's alright. I felt better about this deck. I mean, yeah, I think I could have got 7 wins based off how it played. I was keeping some pretty brutal hands as well, so, like, and powering through those, but it was just fine. Felt good about it, so I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, but until the next video, we will catch you all later. Thank you so much for hanging out. Till the next video.